This episode of the podcast is sponsored by the Tequila Sunrise B&B. Choose Tequila Sunrise for all your short-term and vacation rental needs. Tequila Sunrise, quality accommodations at an affordable price. What's up with Wadadli friends and family? Welcome back to the channel. And as usual, thank you for all your support. Welcome to another episode of Wadadli Excellence. Our guest tonight in studio at the Golden Mic, who you can't see right now, is being featured in our small business showcase. So, from Grace Farm, St. John's, Antigua, he is the CEO, owner, president, chief cook, and bottle washer of Anointed Farms Limited. He was voted Farmer of the Year in 1997 and has consistently been in Antigua's top 10 farmers every year on account of his exceptionally high product quality. He's also the vice president of the Team Fresh Produce Cooperative. He has a passion for the youth and their development and is a mentor and counselor to many in his community and church. He's a man of faith, family, and my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and help me welcome to the show Mr. Neil Gomes. Welcome to Wadadli TV.
It is good to be here, one and all. Thank you for having me, Craig. Thank you for having me, Jomo.
No problem at all, kid.
All right, Mr. Neil Gomes, how are you, sir?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now that I'm here in person on Wadadli TV.
Beautiful. Glad to have you. Okay, so this is our small business showcase. You know, Wadadli TV is all about showcasing Wadadli excellence. So, for anyone, as the motto goes, endeavoring and achieving, we're going to showcase you. We're going to highlight you. So, we appreciate all of your endeavors. I know you personally. I know your work. I know the quality of your work. And I want to applaud you for being consistently producing high quality goods, bringing them to market in Antigua. Think about
it. Yeah, I do take about.
Yeah. All right.
And there is actually a reason why I tend to produce quality, because I recognize that, you know, the bill that we pay for good health after it is exponentially high. And I thought about it and I realized, well, you know, we have to eat. Why not give people healthy, nutritious food, value for money, so that in the long run, Antigua Barbuda and whoever eat my food, they would be, you know, a better health. They would have flavor. They would have whatever they're looking for. I try my best to, you know, bring that out so that the consumer is paramount.
Beautiful. Excellent. Now, I'm sure a lot of people in Antigua know you.
Yeah.
But there's a whole other subculture of Antiguans who do not know you.
Yeah, that's true also.
Who is Neil Gomes? How did you get into farming? How long you been doing it? What drives you? What motivates you? Because let's be honest, farming is hard work, and nowadays everything is click click, snap snap. Nobody really wants to do no hard work. So what inspired you to get into that and kept you going?
Yeah, well, strange enough that you asked that question, because I started farming at a very early age, at about 7. When I say farming, not in the intense labor, but doing a little backyard gardening. And strange, even more strange, is that my yard is concrete. It's paved, it's concrete. But we had a neighbor who was into farming, and he encouraged us as young boys and my sister girl to do some boxes and to plant some lettuce and beets and carrots and that kind of stuff. And as coming up in Grace Farm, that's something that you just don't hear about. Usually, there was in those days a stigma where country people they do the hard work. Town people they do a different kind of work. So for me to be coming into agriculture and actually finding it tasteful, it was a little strange, but as fate would have it, as we'd say, that was where that seed was planted. Um, the other area when I went to OCS, Others Comprehensive School, and we had a very good agricultural program. Part of that program, a lot of young farmer entrepreneurs actually came out of that. So, and I am one of them. So, in doing that, it actually concretized that love and that desire. It actually caused it to bloom and blossom. But even more than that, when I went to A levels, I sat there and I looked around. I think this was the deciding moment for me. I looked in the classroom where that time it was general paper. We have everybody that came on Mondays and Fridays. And I looked around, I saw it, I said, wow. I really actually wanted to be a lawyer. That was what I was going for. And I looked around and I said, whoa, if everybody here becomes a lawyer, a doctor, whatever it is, who's going to feed them? And I mean, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Hamilton was at the front. She was doing her lesson. And I was there thinking, no, this, you have enough lawyers. Antigua has enough lawyers. We have enough accountants. That's what was going through my mind. I said, we don't have enough farmers. Who's going to feed the people? And that's when I decided, there and then, I am going to be a farmer. So I made my way and started to do that. And of course, because I'm coming again from the town background, that's unheard of. And I said, no, I'm going to do it. I am going to do it. Went to work for the airlines for a while and also went into teaching for a while. And I said, no, this is not what I want to do. I want to feed people. I want people to be happy. I want them to be healthy, and as a result of that, that was my journey into becoming what is called in Antigua a full-time farmer, where you do nothing else but farming. That farming is your main sustenance. You're not a taxi driver doing some farming. You're not a banker doing a little bit of that. It's just full force farming, trying to feed the people, trying to get them to appreciate what farming can do. And I kind of like that perspective, Craig, because it also showed young people that farming should not be stereotyped. We shouldn't have any stigma as to, you're a farmer, so you're not educated, that kind of stuff, because that was the thing of the day.
You couldn't hack it anywhere else.
Yeah, but I said I have a choice. I can choose. And in my choice, this is what I choose. I choose farming, agriculture as a profession. That's really the genesis and the journey for me to get into farming.
Cool. Brother Jomo, jump in.
Talk about your farm, Neil. What is talk about your yearly composition of vegetables. What do you have on your farm now? And I want you to branch off into the agro-science of crop rotation. And when you change your crops, what is the impetus of why you plant what you plant?
All right.
Is there a scientific aspect to it, or are you just because you can't plant everything?
No. Correct.
So depending on where your farm is and your soil type and that type of thing. So just tell me generally what's on your farm.
All right. On the farm currently, what I do over the years, because I said I'm in it for 25, and as you rightly said, I try to do everything, especially when you go into the market. You go to the local market, you have the choba, you have this, so you try and do a little bit of everything. But was not sustainable.
Yeah.
And so I did economics at A levels, and I realized that there's specialization and those aspects of economics. And I said I could incorporate this into agriculture. So I started downsizing the amount of commodities that are for the basket of goods, trying to do well in smaller amounts. And so I realized that for the market that so you see, it's not just only soil and what the people ask for. I have to know what my market is because I'm trying to market. And most of my market then and now still comes from the hotel industry, hotels and supermarkets. So I try to do my crop, whether it is rotating or it's just planting steadily, depending on the market that is available before me. I try to do that with economics in mind. So when I plant a crop, it is not that I just love to plant carrots or anything like that. There's a reason for it. And I want you to understand that. There is a reason why I do what I do. In most recent times, what I found is that I do some research also and found out that onions and carrots, those are two crops that seem to be, according to FAO results, they seem to just there's room for growth. Let's call it that. So I started to specialize in those. I took on onion, so much so that for the past pandemic, we were looking at certain farmers, as they call it, big farmers or serious farmers in the Ministry of Agriculture. They called us in and they asked us to look at specific commodities that we can grow. And I volunteered to do onions and tomatoes because those are two of the main crops that I do. And I do them well over the years. So in so doing, I have in the field right now. If it's not in the field, I'm preparing to have them planted. My onions, definitely. I do have tomatoes, and right now tomatoes is scarce. I also do well with watermelons or the cucurbits and cucumbers and that kind of stuff. But I try not to do too much of the crops that a lot of people would do and glut the market. So again, it's not a fairy tale sort of thing that I do. I try to do things that would that's it. That would bring me some income and revenue, but at the same time, present you with a commodity that you would be satisfied with.
The question of food security. You brought up that earlier. What are we going to eat? What are all these lawyers and doctors and entrepreneurs in Antigua going to eat? And I was looking at the OECS report concerning lifestyle as one of the factors that has influenced what we plant. And so when I just visited Antigua, well, we're doing some work, and I know you guys are fighting a battle against the fast food culture in terms of, presenting a healthy alternative. How do you see the current culture of eating right now and what you do in terms of how do you influence food security?
Lifestyle, as you mentioned, it's a big thing in the Caribbean. Some years ago, I went to Barbados and I found this uniquely. It was good, remarkably good. What was good about it was that they were packaging their local produce and putting them. You're talking about value added, but they cut them up nicely, the butternuts and the rolls and so on, and they seal them and put them on the fridge. I thought, wow, that was good. When I think about value added, and when most people think about value added, we think about putting it in the fryer, putting it to bake or something. But this was just something that was just simple and
Packaging.
oh man. And the idea I found out behind that was that they realized that the lifestyle of the young women today, they don't like to get their hands into it because of the nails and so on. So they went ahead and assisted them. And I said, whoa, this is great. This is great. But the strange thing about it is that we've been exposed to that from the import market. The import market, that is what they thrive on.
Yeah.
Simple packaging, getting adding the value to the raw material, and then giving it to us. So then we give it that to our children. Now, what is the challenge that we have? The challenge that we're faced with as local producers and value-added persons is that our produce, though you may say, and somebody else may say, that wow, local produce is the best, it has nice shelf life. You alluded to that earlier in your statement.
Yeah.
Shelf life is good, and so on and so on. You will hear that all over Antigua and Barbuda. Shelf life is good. When you get the imported thing, they take it out of the fridge and they put it down for 5 minutes. And yeah, you can't run water. You hear that? But the thing is, the value that we bring as producers to the population is not taken at the same value. Yeah. So here it is that we're producing a product. You produce a product that is A1, but it doesn't look as good as the one that is coming in. What is the problem with that? Our challenge now is to prove to people that, hey, look, this thing is beautiful, it's dynamic, but you need to pay us. You really need to pay us.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the lifestyle and the changes and so on, though we are producing a product of better quality by comparison, we get knocked out of the market because of advertisement. Mm. So when when you look on the cable TV and you look at this and you look at that, then you see a tomato always 5 years in a row. It's just perfect. Everything the same size, the same color, the same texture. It looks juicy. Juicy. But it looks juicy, but the taste is bland. You understand what I'm saying? So we here as producers, and I think this is why we started the Team Fresh Cooperative Produce, because we realize that you give us lip service underground. That's the person who will be the purchaser and so on. They say, yeah, good quality. But when it comes to giving us a share of the market, our share of the market is minimal. And this is why, as you said, you read OECS report, but I have FAO report that they commissioned. When I said the Ministry of Agriculture, and they gave it to certain people. And when you see the figures, they're staggering in terms of import versus locally produced, right? Especially when it comes to the area of health, pesticide, traceability. There is always this argument that we don't have the what do you call it, the lab to test and verify. But my argument always has been that here it is that over the years, you have not had, when I say over the years, I mean over 20, 30 years, you have not had these E. coli breakout, these things that you may find happening year by year from imported produce. And when you compare that with what we locally produce and the health risks and the factors, you realize there is really and truly nothing to compare. No. Because you get a well versatile produce that you can eat, you can trust your child with. If something goes wrong, Jamo, this is what, and usually you find this in the hotel industry. Yeah. Whenever the hotel will import something, they will get something in certain hotels. I mean, depending on the size and so on. So they'll bring something in, and when there's a shortage, a stop, a gap, they call the farmer. Say, hey, look, I need 200 pounds of tomato. Cool, you're glad for it.
Yeah.
200 pounds, one off, you know what I mean? They dictate the price for you. Say, okay, well, you're willing to sacrifice $2 off because blah, 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 blah. But then the next part of the request is, I want it this afternoon. You call me 9 o'clock, 200 pounds of tomato. For me, for pick fresh.
Yeah.
Is you say fresh is good. And you tell me, you give me the window between 9, bring it to you by 2 because you close off at X time. How practical, how feasible is it?
And you have to wash those tomatoes.
I have to what's the word really? We have to sort them.
Sort them, yeah.
You know, so it's
maybe that's a foray into my next question. You said you're part of a cooperative of farmers.
Yeah.
That might enable you to, if you get or is it set up in a way that you can facilitate cooperation between farmers? Let's say you do get an order for 200 bags of onion. Yeah. And you might have 300 on hand.
Yeah.
Can you call another farmer in your cooperative and say, hey, how much onion you have? Right. And then, try and fulfill the order and then, work out the cash
really and truly, is the genesis of team. That's the word, the team, fresh.
Team, okay.
And the fresh comes from the fact that you'll have fresh produce, right? And we cooperate together, linking, as you're saying. I don't have it, or even though I have it, but my other party, he has another 2,000. I can help him get some off, and we work together. And there's where standards and standards would come in because he will have to have the same type of standards that I have. My farm, so that you getting it to my market, it wouldn't tarnish my reputation. So we do work together when it comes to getting an order to whoever the buyer is, so that we can definitely supply them. But I personally have a challenge with how we as local producers are being treated in that particular regard. Because you do your best to get a produce to a market, right? Because that's what you're in it for. You produce and you market, fine. But there doesn't seem to be a level playing field in terms of what you pay the guys that you're importing from 2 weeks in advance, a month in advance, and then the local guy, you tell him bring this, you give him stringent requirements that you need it under, and when he brings it, stop doing everything else and bring it. He sometimes wait for 2 months before he can get his money. Oh. And those kind of standards, a double standard in more cases. Because, there's some, that's not all hotels, right? The businesses that we deal with. It's not everybody who have that length of time, but minimum, minimum is a 2-week window, 2 weeks to a month. Right, so you're working with that kind of window, and it's to me it's a disincentive.
Yeah, that's hard.
It is.
Because remember, you would have committed a certain amount of accountancy to your field, where you have already worked out. I have 40 acres, 15 has to be under production at all times, and then out of that, I'm gonna have this amount of tomatoes. So for a hotel to tell you, listen, give me all your tomatoes, and then you have to wait 2-3 weeks to get your money, So then at some point in time, you really have to go and push another product outside of your timeline, just for you to put food on your table. Yeah, it's tough.
That is reality. So it's I guess we're looking at getting young persons involved in agriculture and so on. But what really happens is that if we are to get them involved, we would need to have a business model. When I say we, I'm coming now from the ministry standpoint.
Ministry,
right? Where something is in place, not only as I call it lip service, but more so you have a structure and a system that you can go to. And when I say go to, I mean it works.
Yeah.
A system that will work, whether you are 15 years old, that's kind of figure, 55 years old. It works. It just works because it was designed and crafted to work. So we need to have these players not only come around the table, but actually getting something that really will work. And it can happen.
Yeah. Well, that was sort of the genesis of what CMC was supposed to be in terms of a marketing cooperative where farmers, could get their goods sold, regardless of the market, and being able to actually market our produce as Antigua. I just wanted Neil to take me back to the pandemic, where, at certain points, imports were almost at a zero, where you just couldn't get stuff imported, um, because of whatever reason, just feasibility. And, even here in the United States, there were backlogs of a lot of things. How did we survive that period, at the most intense period of the pandemic? How did you see the food supply? I heard about broilers and chicken and egg and that kind of. How did we survive? How did Antigua survive that little period? And what was it like?
The thing is, we survived solely on a supply and demand factor. The market really played out. When I say the market played out, I mean the folks who once upon a time didn't like the local produce because it didn't look the same as the imported one realized that if I don't eat this thing that looks bad, I'm gonna die.
Okay.
So it was a survival mechanism for them.
Okay.
When producers saw that, when I say not only farmers meaning vegetable farmers, but when producers saw that there was a need for it, what we had in the ground, what we had underground, quickly sold out because people were buying in bulk. They were lining up. They were willing to pay. Right? Because it was life. It was a survival.
We don't know how long this is gonna last.
We don't know, and I don't know how long I'm gonna last.
That's crazy, man.
It's not gonna be too long. So what that did for us as producers, you realize, hey, this is a trend, there's a market now. You hit the ground running. You dig in and you plant any and everything that you can get. You plant because you know it. You know how to, right? You know how to. And so what you find happening is that we produce. Yeah, there was a little pushing in that came in from DA and different places, but governments were telling people you cannot export. So when you have regional governments telling their people, keep it because we are going to need it.
Yeah.
And based on the population size, we are definitely going to need it. We don't know when. Wow. Don't sell it. Store it.
Wow.
And so you find that in Antigua, reliance, and again, as I said, I mentioned farmers were called in because we recognize that you're going to need producers. And when I say farmers, I mean beekeepers, I mean different from all parts of the spectrum.
Wow.
Called in to a meeting. High level minister met with us. COVID protocol were adhered to. Bam. This is what we're looking to do. This is what we'd like. You're the guys that we believe that can. If you put your land in production, we will support you. So, and you can keep Antigua going for
Right.
X amount of months.
Right.
Now, if you look at that scenario and you're telling me that I can keep my country supplied with produce for a period of time because it was do or die, what happened to now that it's not do or die? What happened? Can't I still save you as I did then when it was do or die? Can't you now use that to improve my production ability, my capacity to produce? Can't you see my value now as a producer? More than marketing. Let me tell you, more than marketing. We need people to recognize they need farmers. If you work in the bank, if you're an accountant, if you're this or that, you need for eat supper. You need for now. You understand the local talk now? You need me. Now make me feel as though me just one little worm when no pandemic. But when the pandemic made it, you put on crown on my head.
Best friends.
Yeah. Oh, I know the farmer because me and the farmer best friend. Right. No.
Right.
Treat me equal.
But let me ask this question. I would have thought that this good and bad and everything, but I would have thought that one of the pluses of that pandemic experience, that now that there's this big buy local, because we have to buy local push, that people now when they're buying up all your stuff and they consume it, they go, oh, you know what? This stuff is not so bad. Let me keep this up. Was that not the reality?
True. The thing is though, is that probably it was the reality, but there wasn't any way to measure it because the focus was on the COVID.
Okay.
What is it? How do we deal with it? We didn't know what that was. Right. So the focus really on discovering what this thing is, if you can get the vaccine and so that was the focus. You just need somebody to feed you and keep the gas out your stomach for a while until you can figure out this thing.
Right.
I did that.
Right.
I did that. I kept you alive.
Right.
Provided you weren't contaminated and so on and so forth. I kept you well. You were going good.
Right.
You understand? But then you didn't have that view of taking the scientific measurements and the figures, taking that data to say, look, really, local is really better. Even if it's not better, local is not so bad.
Yeah.
Better man.
Thank you, say bad.
You better.
No.
I'm saying I'm thinking from in terms of reducing obesity, reducing disease in kids, reducing long-term disease and chemical use. I mean, it was an opportunity, and I know I used probably the word that didn't have enough energy when I said marketing, but this was a chance for us to energize people in the right direction. And, as COVID changes, now here comes fuel and the price of gasoline.
Yeah.
And so inflation is now causing, hey, me see on head of lettuce in one store for $50-something.
Yeah.
I mean, tell you, 52.
Yeah.
To be exact. And I looked at it, I'm going to look for them again. I'm going to call my partner and ask you if that's a Deutschmark. Because that can't be easy.
That's real?
No, that's serious. $52.
Yes.
And you know what?
But Jomo, let me jump in.
Was not,
permit me to jump in with that because this is one of the things I was talking to one of my local customer about. This particular customer of mine was telling me, look, Neil, tomatoes have gone up. It's X amount of dollars. It's now $11.30, and some places it's especially cherry tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's 17 or 20 something dollars, and that's not even a good pound. It's just the packaging that makes it value added, and I can't blame anybody. Value added. But I went to one of my market place. And I said, well, I realized that the commodity, the price has shifted upward.
Mm.
Would you be willing to give me what you used to give me plus something? Because in any way, you always tell me that the local is better and so on and so forth. But they refused to refuse is a strong. They weren't willing to entertain a higher price.
So
I mean,
they want to sell it for higher.
I don't know if they would sell it for higher,
okay,
but they wouldn't want to purchase it for higher.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is, as you mentioned earlier about the market, so it would have been a great time to market. I'm saying this also is a great time, as you're saying, to market, to showcase. Look, hey, local producers can produce equal quality, better quality, get it to you on time, get it to you fresh. Your people are happy. The hotel industry is happy. The local people, they're happy. Now, pay the guy, compensate him. Not only that, because the fact of the matter is he is going to have to wait X amount of weeks before he can get his payment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we're looking at 25 by 25, we have to take things like that into account. How do you get that kind of information? You have to come to the guy that produces it. Right. You must have these people around the table so that they can say, hey, this is my problem. Oh, I didn't realize that was a problem. It's a discussion that we need to have. And we need to have it sooner rather than later.
So I'm gonna give you this magic one. It's so magic you can't even see it. I'm gonna give you this magic one.
Take off.
Right.
Do.
How do you? It sounds to me, in simple terms, that we need a stronger buy local initiative.
Yeah.
Especially with this 25 by 25, because correct me if I'm wrong. Is it reducing imports by 25% or foreign imports? Like regional imports are okay.
Yeah,
or
regional
imports. Period.
No.
Regional is okay.
Regional is okay.
Okay.
Because it's Caribbean.
It's Caribbean. Okay, very good. So
Caribbean community.
Okay, but still, then we need a buy local meaning regional, buy regional campaign.
Yes, we do.
How do we fix that?
Well, years ago I made a suggestion because one of the things that I didn't say was that I was pretty well known in the Caribbean by different
kind of a big deal.
So and one of several of my trips throughout the Caribbean and presenting to different forums and so on. I used to push. I use this as an example. When Usain Bolt won the 100 meter, I can't remember the year. They interviewed her and they asked him, "Well, Usain, what was it? What you eat?" He said, "How is it that you're so fast?" Yeah. He said, "He eat plenty of yellow, yeah." Jamaican I had more yellow, yeah, the next weekend. He just simply says, "So
yellow, yeah,
yeah, I'm a pork."
Yeah.
And then them buy out all, then do they text on the different parts of the world and cut the yam and then see what the chemical comes stepping out. Right? They do right down to the molecular mass. They want to know everything about this. Yeah. Because if it is true, they would want to replicate. Right. No, right. I am saying that was marketed. In my view, you have you look, Shelley and Fraser Price, #1 in the world. Elaine Thompson. You get these kind of people in the Caribbean who you can just simply tell them, look, hey, promote this, promote the Caribbean, promote agriculture, promote something. But no, what we do is just look for tourists and tourism. And so if they're promoting tourism, fine. For any other aspect, I'm saying that we have agriculture and sport can be merged. Agriculture and health can be merged.
Remember, anything that you say, Bull push, he getting paid.
No problem. But so you're going to make it back on the other side. Listen, Wadadli people have yellow yam for sale. Okay?
Jamo, listen to me. Listen.
Look for
I heard Courtney Watch one time saying, "This is the reason why I'm promoting my Caribbean region." He said, "Without West Indies cricket, you wouldn't know who Courtney Watch was."
That's correct.
Exactly.
Without West Indies cricket, you wouldn't know the name. You wouldn't know the guy. And so he wanted to give back. He wanted to give back. I believe if the right people ask the right questions, hey, look.
That's right.
You have one brand with Puma and you have one with Nike and so on and so forth. But on the weekend when you're not doing that, just come and think. Get Wadadli TV to come and film you.
Yeah.
Then the word gets out. Hey, so and so and so and so. Yeah, I mean, look what they're doing and thing and thing. It blooms. It blooms.
Yeah.
It can sell.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're getting $1 for it, but you're doing something for your Caribbean. Because at the end of the day, when you retire, when you've left whatever it is that you're doing, you come back to the same Caribbean people. You understand what I mean? So I'm saying, if we can begin to harness the resources that we have, rather than letting somebody else, some other brand come and harness you solely for the fact that you're gonna milk you for the $2 that you then give you. Use that same platform to talk about your local, whatever it is, your produce, your island, your Caribbean destination, whatever it is you want to promote. But my take on it is that if we're going to promote 25% reduction of imports by a particular time, get those kind of people, get the celebrity involved.
On board. Yeah.
And then, John and Craig, what would happen is that the different tiers, different classes that we have in every society, they may not listen to me because, yeah, I reach as far as this particular thing in my education, but they will listen to the sport icon. They will listen to Seviv. They will listen to different people. Right. Get your different people throughout the Caribbean, and then you give them a mandate. This is what we're going to do. This is the reason why we're doing it. Right. And we need your help. We need your help.
This guy. I like it. Tell us more about the Team Fresh Produce Cooperative. How many people are part of it? How many farmers are part of it? Do you need more people in it? Are you getting pushback with that? Because I feel like that would be something that, as you guys band together, you can sort of push back on people who might want to lowball you for, buy your stuff for $1 and sell them for 20. Is that part of your operational goal?
Well, I think, Team Fresh in that aspect. Yeah. Let me give you a little thing about Team Fresh Produce. We are about 63 registered farmers. Wow. It is a registered. Let
me say 2 people.
No.
63?
Yeah. 65.
They have that many farmers in the Tigger?
Yeah, right. Yeah. On record, we have over 2,000 farmers in.
Okay.
2,000.
Yeah. But that's not bona fide full-time farmers, of course. Somebody that get a piece of something and they register at extension or ADC. But the fact is, with TFPC, we came together maybe about 12 years ago by now, somewhere around that. And the mandate was to, as we were discussing, to lobby for changes from all tiers, from how we produce as well as from how we are regulated. So most of quite a bit of those regional workshops and conferences that I've been to is to represent not only TFPC but Antigua also at some of those. Some of those. Yeah. Okay. Right. But in terms of it being at some point in time, you get a feeling that there is a respect that has come out for TFPC, but at the same time there's some kind of restraint because I don't know if persons would think that it may become, the child would come up to something great and not be what you want that child to be. So you get, of course, as in everything, you get that pushback, that kickback sometimes, that delay in assistance and so on, because it's a cooperative, it's not for profit cooperative. But we also are a part, and the president, who is now deceased, um, formed a uh, regional cooperative, which is, the acronym is ACARI, Agricultural Alliance for Regional. Um, I can't remember it right now, but that particular body is made up, comprised of persons from all over the Caribbean. The president now is in the Bahamas. He's from the Bahamas. So his cooperative in the Bahamas forms a part of ACARI. The treasurer is in Montserrat. You have the part of the executive is from St. Vincent, from St. Lucia. So it's all over the Caribbean, working together for synergy. So something like what, the 2025, by 2025, would ACARI could play a major role in that. Right. Because now, if you sat with those persons, tell them this is the mandate that we're working, and we want you to assist us. They could be the one to feed that into the local chapters. Disseminate that. Yeah, right. Wow. And in feeding it in.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they probably would be able to say, look, hey, look, farmers in my district need fertilizer, for argument's sake, and they need this particular type of fertilizer. So you get that back to the heads who can make the decision to lower the cost or to get it in or whatever it is, you know. So if you can take it something like that from that approach, well then you'd find that TFPC and ACARI would be more meaningful in helping to alleviate or to reach that goal that you've set. Right. But you first would have to let us know and perhaps sit with the ACARI executive, if not the whole executive, at least the president, and say, look, hey, next time we go to this meeting, we'd like your presence because you and maybe the one in Jamaica and so on and so on and so forth would be able to help us because you are on the ground. I am just a policymaker. I need you to make your input, and then you need me now to make my input so that this thing can work. Right. So I'm guessing that like TFPC and ACARI, we came together for a common goal, which was to get market for our produce in TFPC. But the formulation of ACARI, could be beneficial for the entire region if we utilize what we have.
So we're pretty much at time. Jumbo, you want to wrap it up? Any last words you want to?
Yeah, I get kind of misty when I hear about the genesis of OECS. OECS started as East Caribbean Common Market with 3 people in the building. One of those persons was my father. Oh. And so I know that regional integration can work. And so when I talk about regional integration from the standpoint of trade and agro-processing and all of this stuff, I understand Craig's analogy of pie in the sky because he had for the boy. There are a lot of players in the international market. We don't realize how much money we spend as a Caribbean region. And we think of ourselves as minuscule, as unimportant, but the rest of the world don't really see us as unimportant. And so the rest of the world understands the value of who we are. It's for us to understand our own value and to look at our farmers and say, listen, boy, without the farmers, how yam, waga yam, and waga home in our pocket. The farmers are an integral part of regional economics. And I think it's about time for you guys to get the recognition and to get a seat at the table when we're making decisions on budgets or regional spending or international funding. You guys need to be at the table because you're so critical to the economy. Remember Carl Samuel's father and all of these guys who started out in farming, Lasban Webster and all these guys who were pioneers in agriculture. And you have become the next generation of people who got to make it happen. And I applaud you for doing such. And I know that time to come, it can happen, man. Liquor by liquor. Liquor by liquor.
Very good. So, all right, Brother Neil. Thank you for stopping by with Wadadli TV and giving us the behind the scenes insight on the farming industry and some of the challenges and the pain points. I hope that, for the people who watch this, that, the right eyeballs will see this and the right ears will hear this and bring you guys to the table, give you your fair shake, and make some meaningful, substantive changes so that we can incentivize the next generation of farmers. Because as I was listening here, I'm like, man, this sounds like a tough industry. Sounds like tough sledding in the farming world. A young person hearing this might, even if they love farming, might go, you know what? Maybe it's not for me. Me don't want to get my boat like that. Me don't want to get my boat like that, Jack. Yeah. So hopefully the right people will hear this and make the right sort of changes to really make the market lucrative, make it work for everybody. Because there's some opportunity for win-win, growth and changes, so that we keep the economy going, we keep the country fed, we support local, buy regional. It's a win-win for everybody. So thank you for stopping by with Wadadli TV. I wish you all the best.
Good to be here. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Very happy New Year to you.
And I do wish the same to you and every success to Wadadli TV.
Very good. All right. Good night, everybody. We will see you again in the next episode with our next guest. Talk to you next time. Take care.